Namaste everyone.
Namaste Yogi ji.
Yeah, so let us begin our session with mantras. Please unmute your microphone.
Namaste.
Both hands in chin, spine straight, eyes closed. Just take some deep breathings. Breathings with abdominal movements. When you inhale, abdomen goes up. When exhale, that goes in. So now bring the palms together on your chest. Follow the words of mantra. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha
Vakratunda Mahakaya Samaprabha
Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada
Nirvignam Kuru Deva
Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada.
Sarvada.
Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu
Guru
Brahma,
Guru
Guru
Vishnu
Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha
Guru Deva Maheshwara
Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma
Guru Sakshat Param Brahma
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha
Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham
Yogena Chittasya Bhajavajagena Vacha
Malam Sharirasya Chavedyakena
Malam Sharirasya Chavajagena
Yopa Karotam Pravarang Munina
Yopakarotam Pravanam Munina
Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi
Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi
Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye
Om Namah Shivaya
Gurave
Gurave
Satchitananda Murtaye
Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase
Nishprapachaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase
Om Vande Gurunam Charanarvinde
Om Vande Gurunam Sharanarvinde
Sandarshita Swatmasukhavabodhe
Santashita Svatmasukavapode
Nishayase Jangalikayamane
Nishriyase Jangalikayamane
Sansarhala Halmoh Shanti
Samsarahala halamoha shante
Abahu Purushakaram Shankhachakrasidharinam
Chakra Siddharinam
Sahasra Shirsam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim
Sahasrashri Samsvetam Pranamami Patanjalim
Together once more, Shanti. Shanti.
Shanti.
Shanti.
Shanti.
Bow down, salute your teacher, all the teachers, in the divine all names and forms. Good. Yes. So we'll start the third chapter in professional essentials. Okay. So all these chapters are actually the tools of effective teaching, how your teaching can be effective. And if you will apply all these techniques in your teachings will be highly transformative to your students, and your students will enjoy your classes. Okay. And now we come, if you want to start your yoga studio, when you start your own yoga studio, and then what are the things which you should take care of the environment of your studio. Okay. So there are, we have senses. Okay. We have five senses. First comes sight. So the first impression people get through their sight. When you go somewhere and when you look at things, and if that looks beautiful, so you are impressed with that beauty, right? You say, wow, this is so beautiful. Okay. So the environment of your yoga place should be beautiful. Things should be well organized, not haphazardous, and the place should be neat and clean. Okay, beautiful. Some flowers, some good, statues or some antique things you can keep in your studio. Okay, so this is called beauty, sight. And second is the nose. Okay, fragrance, the scent, the fragrance of the uh, practice place or the studio should be fragrant, good smell, that you can use diffusers to produce good smell in the atmosphere, or you can use the camphor. Okay, there is camphor diffuser. You can use camphor. Camphor is good for, that is antibacterial, and that also purifies the subtle atmosphere of the place. Okay, so that is for smell. Okay, your place should smell good. And third is the sound, the hearing. A yoga studio should not be noisy. Okay, that should be peaceful, quiet place, so that people will not be disturbed with the noise. Okay, there are three things, and because you don't eat there, so there is no use of tongue sense. Okay, but yes, you have body, so your body can feel the energy. Therefore, the energy of the yoga center, yoga place should be soothing, should be loving and cheerful. Okay, and because you practice yoga at that place, you practice meditation, you practice, spiritual practices like love, affection, gratitude, humbleness, smile, cheerfulness. All these are spiritual practices. So all these spiritual practices enhance the energy of a room, of a place. In English, that is called consecration. Have you heard this word? Consecration? Yeah. So consecration is when you purify a place with your spirit, with your soul, with your entire being. If you are positive, you will make a place positive. If you are negative, wherever you will step in, that place will become negative. So energy follows us and we carry the energy. If we are good in soul, we are good. We have good energy and we spread the good energy. Since a yoga place is a place of yoga practices like asana, meditation, and holistic things, so the energy of that place is enhanced and that is consecrated. So this is the best environment for yoga. Hope this is clear, right? Or any question in this? So in addition to these things, I have given some topics, some bullet points in the book. You can go through later on, and you can see how you can make your yoga studio better, beautiful. Okay. Do you have any question in this chapter, environment for yoga?
It's okay.
Okay. Now next, I have given some points how you can make your yoga practice and the environment of yoga good and yogic. That is called yogic. Yogic is all good. So first is setting the class. So set the class in good environment. Okay. And as a teacher, where you have to place, you have to find your place out. Okay, in front of all of the students, you have to place your yoga mat, and also you have to keep your eyes on your students. Okay? So that is called setting the class. Means how the a yoga teacher's yoga mat should be, where that should be placed, and where how the students should be arranged in arrays, in systematically, so that you can look all the students not in the same line or sometimes zigzag, that depends on the space. So that is called setting the class. Is it clear? Setting the class means teacher's yoga mat and practitioner's yoga mats and their angles, how you can see them, So that is called setting the class. Second is incense. So some people use the incense in the yoga practice hall, but incense is not good for our breathings. Okay, incense is not good for our breathings. When you breathe in, then incense may make you feel uneasy in your lungs, in your breathings. So while you are practicing intensive yoga with incense, that is not good for lungs. Okay. However, that can be used before the yoga session, and when yoga starts, then that should be completely off. You may have observed when you use the air purifier, and if you have any smell, air purifier doesn't accept any smell even. Have you observed this? That will start blinking the red light. Any smoke, any kind of a smoke. So that's not good for atmosphere. Now, background music. You can use the background music, very soothing background music. You can find background music in Amazon Music, or there are some apps where you can find yoga music, which you can play in the background and you practice yoga. Since these are, teacher training classes, so we do not use yoga music. And also, the day when you came at our studio, we did not play the music because the structure of training classes are different than the normal yoga class. But in normal yoga class, you can play the very soothing background music. Okay. Fourth is be aware of your personal outlook. As a yoga teacher, your outlook should be appeasing. That should be gladdening. Not too much color, very eye-picking color. That should not be used, or very texture of the texture in your dress. You should be very noble. You should be sober. Your dress should look sober. And also the jewelries, if you use so many jewelries in yoga, that is not, if you are ladies and you're using jewelries, then that is not comfortable and helpful. And your dress should be flexible, not very long, not very inhibiting. That should be flexible. Whatever dress you use, that should be flexible. That should not inhibit you in movements, and that should not block the range of the motion. Okay. So that is your personal look. In India, yoga teachers wear the kurta and pajama. Have you seen kurta and pajama? Yeah. So that is very sober dress. But kurta and pajama, since they are made of cotton, and cotton doesn't give range, is not elastic. So the mixed cloth is good, elastic cloth. Elastic lower or the t-shirts are okay. But again, plain, that should be plain. One color, or white or blue or yellow, whatever color you use. Slight texture can work, but not too much, because every color has energy. Okay, you have learned in Kundalini yoga that all chakras have different energies, and red is very stimulating energy. Red color is very lower energy. Red has very low energy, and the violet is the best energy. Violet color has best energy. Violet, indigo, blue, green, these are good colors. Okay. Or white is the best color. Okay. They radiate good energy. So that was about environment of yoga, environment for yoga. It's clear? Balaramji, am I audible?
Yes.
Any question from you?
No, all right.
Good. Yeah, so Balaramji today is at our studio. You can see him.
Yes.
Yeah, he reached there in time. That was great. You're most welcome. Today I could not come today, but I would
Thank
see you maybe tomorrow or day after. And of course, on the day when you will receive the certificate,
Yeah.
I'll see you at the center.
Yeah, I'm coming for 3 days, no problem.
Great, great. You're most welcome.
I'll be joining Pala Ramji maybe tomorrow or day after.
Okay, you're so welcome. It's going to be very nice together.
Yeah, then he'll enjoy because he's feeling alone there.
No, we know his hair.
Yeah. He's,
So he was before me here, and he welcomed me.
yeah, when Alice and Sean had come, then they were 2 in numbers.
Yeah.
They had co-practitioners.
Yeah, Sandeep coming is more enjoyable.
Yeah, but for yogis, aloneness is joyful.
In yoga, aloneness is again very beneficial many times.
Yeah. That is essential, aloneness. If you don't love aloneness, that means you cannot practice meditation, because in meditation you have to be absolutely in solitude. So to be in solitude is meditation.
I think aloneness is very near to oneness.
Correct. Actually, the word alone is made of all one.
Yeah,
Alone, all one. Alone means all one. When you feel that oneness, that is called alone.
Yeah.
Alone is not the solitary or the, what do you say, that's not different. Solitary is not alone. Alone is when you feel one with the universe.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Your big posters are displayed here, so you're always present here.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. And my energy remains always there.
Yes, that I felt.
Thank you.
Mm.
Now we learn the next chapter called queuing. Queuing is verbal instruction, and you may have observed that when you are teacher, even I observed this in Alice very nicely when she was teaching, because as a teacher you have to be vocal. You give the cue, you give the verbal instructions, you talk a lot. You talk almost 90%, 90 to 95% you talk. So talking is important part of effective teaching. So through talking, you make a connection, you establish a connection with your students. Okay. But there are certain rules of queuing, like you should speak very soothingly, very intelligibly, like, whatever you speak, that should be reached to your students. Your students should understand. If you are native British English speaker, then your English is absolutely fine, finest English. But you have to be mindful of your students also, whether they understand you or not. So you have to use very popular words in yoga practice. So there are some popular words which we have mentioned in this book, in this chapter. We'll come to those points. But choose the technical words and concisely, precisely, but very clearly, elaboratingly. I mean, you have to clarify. Suppose if you are teaching group of asanas. Suppose you are teaching headstand. Okay, so you have to teach everything about headstand. Okay, but while teaching, you have to give cue. While they practice, you have to give cue. And sometimes, like Alice had asked that day, is it okay if I practice and my students are also practicing along with me? Okay, so sometimes that happens, and that is very good when you practice and your students follow you. Okay, and they follow your energy. Actually, you give up yourself into the hand of nature, in the cosmic force, and cosmic force leads you through different asana, through different sequences. That becomes more aesthetic, more natural, and more powerful, more transformative. And your students, if they follow sincerely to you, evidently to you, then they also enjoy. Okay. When you practice yourself and also you are teaching, then that time also you have to cue. But while practicing yourself and giving cue becomes a little bit versatile, becomes multitasking. Okay. So while you are practicing, you have to give cue. And when you stop and you watch, when you keep your eyes on your students, that time also you give cues. And more importantly, when you are teaching a group of students in the group, then you have to keep your eyes on every student, each and every student equally. Okay, and you don't allow any student to make mistakes. But in the first class or in few beginning classes, that is natural because you cannot expect the 100% perfection from your students. But try to be as much as communicating and connecting. So queuing is giving verbal instructions to your students. And that becomes more authentic. You put your feeling into your queuing when you had experienced them. Okay, you put your feeling into your word. That is why when you practice yourself alone, that is important. Then you are mindful and you note what problems you are facing. And when you face any problem, then how you overcome that. Sometimes you overcome yourself by using your creativity and intelligence. Sometimes you ask your teacher, and your teacher helps you overcome the problems you are facing in your practices. because you are becoming guide. You are going to be a guide. So queuing is important part of effective teaching. Okay. Now, I have given a table on page number 410. So I have given some examples like feet. When you want to queue for the feet, then how you queue, how you give the queuing in standing asanas for foot, you say root down equally through your heels and the balls of your feet. This is a kind of queuing. Like lower legs, you ask for your lower legs that draw your shins back while reaching your calves towards your heels. See, this sounds very technical, right? And this sounds very helpful also to your students. Similarly, about knees, like engage your quadriceps muscles, lifting your kneecaps while spreading the back of your knees. In Tadasana, you give the cue to this. These are simple examples, but you can add some your own experiences also, your own words also. Similarly, about thighs, when they practice Utthit Trikonasana, a standing triangle, then you cue for thighs that draw your pubic bones back up and up while drawing your tailbone back and down. So pubic bone is drawn back and up, okay, but your tailbone back and down. In Adho Mukha Svanasana, in Utthita Trikonasana, you say press the tops of your thighs back while spreading evenly through your hamstrings. Similarly, Virabhadrasana 2. Virabhadrasana 2 is, when you take your hands in sideways, okay, that is warrior 2. Okay. So in warrior 2, you guide for spine, how to keep the spine. You ask your students, expand your lower back rib while allowing your lower front ribs to soften in. Virabhadrasana, because rib is playing a role in Virabhadrasana 2. So you have to focus that part. Okay. Now we have given examples of some asanas, how you will be queuing. You can add or subtract some words or some points in this. Suppose if you are teaching, you are giving cue for Tadasana, palm tree posture. Then you say maintaining path bandha, feel the awakening of your inner thighs, slightly spiraling them back. And from there, a feeling of lightly drawing your sitting bones toward each other, awakening a sense of Mula Bandha. Mula Bandha you have learned today. Okay, Mula Bandha is root lock, okay, anal lock. So you apply this bandha also, awakening a sense of Mula Bandha as you lift lightly and steadily from your perineum, energetically lifting from the floor of your pelvis up through your spine, expanding across your heart center and lengthening out through the crown of your head. So this is palm tree pose, Tadasana. Okay. So you have to note what limbs, what parts of the body are being involved in that asana, and that you can study, you can learn, and you can memorize these cue, but that will not be so creative. Creative would be when you will be practicing and when you will note what parts are being involved, what parts are being stretched, moved, twisted, bent, and you will name those parts. Okay, then that becomes more helpful to your students. So similarly, we have given some examples like Uttanasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, and you should study, you must study all these things during your study hours. Okay. So I have given 8 examples for queuing. Okay. Now again, I have given queuing for vinyasa also. The vinyasa, how you queue. When your students are doing vinyasa, then if you queue, that becomes helpful, like exhale to the downward dog. And then there are sub points like grip the ground with your fingertips, firm your forearms in, spread your shoulder blades wide, draw your ribs and navel in. So this is downward dog. And you must observe that when you practice downward dog, and if you incorporate all these points, then your downward dog asana becomes aligned, therefore effective. If you are well aligned in an asana, then your asana becomes therapeutic, effective. Really? So this is queuing in vinyasa. In downward dog, you grip the ground with your fingertips. Your fingertips, you grip. Then firm your forearms in. Spread your shoulder blades wide. You spread. Then draw your ribs and navel in. Then that becomes a downward dog. So that is part of queuing of vinyasa. Then you come into in plank. You come into plank, right? You inhale and shift forward into plank. Then you guide for, make sure your shoulders are right on top of your wrists. Then step your feet back until the balls of your feet are underneath your heels. Draw your ribs and navel in, firm your inner thighs, gently engage your glutes. These are a few, but you can add some more. And if you forget some of them, no problem, but must highlight the important parts which are involved in that asana. So this step is done with inhalation. Then you come in Chaturanga Dandasana, okay? And you come Chaturanga Dandasana through exhalation. You say, don't go too low. Bring your shoulder tips in line with your elbows. And also you ask, breathe from your core muscles. Your drishti in eyebrow center, bhrumadhya. So there are a lot of things to add in queuing, okay? They are just some examples. It's clear, Palaramji, Sandeepji, Saunji, and Alice?
Yes.
Any question? No? Good. And all of you were very good in queuing. Even I was surprised to see Palaramji's queuing yesterday.
Yeah, thank you.
I was very happy, to see. He was descriptive. And Sean, am I right? You're there in Palaramji class.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I was there. Yes, he's very clear. And then I really enjoyed that class.
Yeah.
Yes.
So since you are just going to finish this training and your class is so good, then what about when you will be more experienced? Then your classes would be more beloved, more joyful, more transformative. So this is all about applying the techniques in our on practice and also in teaching. So to become a teacher is to be kind to your students, to be very descriptive, to be very elaborating to your students. You have duty to impart your knowledge in your students. Okay, very good. Then there are some familiar terms, queuing terms. You can go through later on, but I will highlight what are some terms like adduct and abduct. These two terms we use, adduct and abduct. Adduct is bringing parts to this middle part of the body, and abduct is taking away. Similarly, bring your biceps in line with your ears in downward facing dog. You cue this. Bring your biceps in line with your ears. Biceps in line with your ears in downward facing dog. Not apart. If your biceps are in line with your ears, then your downward dog becomes aligned. Similarly, in some asana, you ask, close your eyes, like corpse pose. Shavasana, you ask, close your eyes and relax. Or in Vrikshasana, also tree posture. But closing eyes in tree posture is challenging. Then you lose balance. But You use this term, close your eyes. Similarly, draw your shoulders down your back. Okay. You give this cueing. Similarly, hug your elbows to your sides in Chaturanga Dandasana. Hug your elbows to your side. Similarly, flower your anus or blossom your buttocks. Relax the glutes. So these are the terms which are used as cueing. Ground down in Tadasana or mountain pose, you say ground down. Allow your body to settle into the ground, allow your skeletal to hold some of your weight, so your muscles don't have to work as hard. Ground down. Then square your hips. Also you say square your hips. Square your hips. Okay. Then inner rotation, Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward bow pose. Upward bow pose is also called half circle, Ardha Chakrasana, half circle pose. But this is actually called Urdhva Dhanurasana, inner rotation. So inner Dhanurasana, you ask for inner rotation. Jump back, like in Ashtanga, sunset rotation, you give cue, jump back, jump forward like also. Kick up into the handstand. In handstand, you say kick up. Similarly, lengthen the sides of your body, like Utthit Parshvanasana, extended side angle pose. Utthit Parshvanasana, Utthit Parshvanasana, side angle. When you take your arm over the ears, that is called Utthit Parshvanasana. But there is no Utthit. Utthit is when your leg remains straight. Do you remember? There are two kinds of Trikonasana. Do you remember? One is simple Trikonasana, another is Utthit Trikonasana. Simple Trikonasana, in simple Trikonasana, your knee is bent, front knee. Okay? In simple Trikonasana. And in Utthit Trikonasana, your leg remains straight. You don't bend your knee. Similarly, Parshvanasana, side angle, in normal Parshvanasana, your knee is bent, front knee is bent. But in Utthit Parshvanasana, your leg remains straight without bend.
Yogi Anand?
Yeah.
Is that what Uttita means? Is straight leg or straight?
Yeah.
Uttita.
Actually,
Okay.
Uttita literally means standing. Utthit means standing, but in Trikonasana or in this sense means straight.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you for asking question. Yeah. Similarly, micro bend the knee. In some asana, you bend your knee lightly, slightly. That is called micro bend your knee. Or people who have knee problems, knee pain, you instruct for them micro bend your knee. Then lengthen the sides of your body, like Vasishthasana or Utthit Parshvanasana. Vasishthasana, side plank in arm balancing asana. You have practiced. So in Vasishthasana, you cue lengthen the sides of your body. Lengthen. Micro bend the knee, you have already gone through. Neutral spine. In some asanas, you have to neutralize the spine. You have to keep your spine neutral, not extended, okay, not twisted. You keep neutral, and that asana becomes easy. Like forward and backward bending asanas. When you bend forward or you bend backward, then you keep your spine neutral. In that case, if you keep your spine neutral, then you can bend forward or backward freely. Otherwise, you will obstruct that. So must remember, when you practice back bend or forward bend, then you keep your spine neutral. Open your heart. In all the back bending asanas, you can give this cue. What? open your heart in all the back bending asanas. Remember, in all the back bending asanas, you give the cue, open your heart, and that really helps. Pretend you are between two panes of glass. This is also sometimes, given. Okay. This is funny, but yeah. Pretend you are between two panes of glass. So, Uttita Trikonasana, in Uttita Trikonasana, you give this. Activate your quadratus lumborum. It's called QL. Medically, technically, in short, the abbreviation is called QL. And that connects the spine to the pelvis. This QL connects the spine and the pelvis. So this is given when someone's back muscle are weak, then that is asked that QL picks up the slack. Okay, you say pay attention to it. Okay. Similarly, the word is very popular, release. Now release this asana. Now release your hands, release your legs, release your chin. Suppose if you are practicing fish posture, in fish posture you use your head. You say release your head. Okay. In Parsva Uttanasana, do you remember Parsva Uttanasana? What is Parsva Uttanasana? Anybody? That is in Ashtanga Yoga, hint. Balaramji, do you remember Parsva Uttanasana?
Not remembering.
Muktasana.
Parshva Uttanasana. Parshva means back. Uttana means a stretch. I thought Alice was showing me.
Yeah, I think she was on the right thing.
Can you show Alice back side?
I wasn't sure. I thought maybe it was this one where you put your arms over and you lean forward, but maybe not.
No, you are almost right. Can you show me how? No, not exactly. I thought you were right, but yeah, actually, in Parsva Uttanasana, you take your both hands in back in Namaskar Mudra. Do you remember? And then you inhale and exhaling bend down. That's called Parsva Uttanasana. And at the end, we ask you, now release your hands. Now inhaling, stand up, release your hands, and bring your leg from backward to forward. So we use release in many words, in many asanas. Okay, subtle body. We use subtle body also. Like in pranayama, Kundalini yoga, we use subtle body. Tuck your tailbone. In savasana, you tuck your tailbone. Tucking your tailbone can create more length in your spine. But when you take this action too far, you flatten the natural curve in your lower back. Okay. So if you tuck your tailbone, then that creates more length in your spine. Okay. Use your props. That is very popular. In some asanas, we ask you use your props, or you can ask your students use your props. Like Utthit Hast Padangushthasana or bridge posture or the fish posture, in camel posture. Almost there are a scope to use props in every asana. You can use prop in any asana to make that asana more therapeutic. In Iyengar yoga, they use props, lots of props. Now visualization. You use visualize this, visualize that the light is shedding through your head all the way down to the spine, in that way, visualize. Go to the wall. Yeah, that is very clear. In some asanas, you ask, go to the wall. X-ray vision. See, this is very important. This is very technical word, cueing word. X-ray vision. X-ray, what does it do? This sees the things very clearly. Okay. So X-ray vision is normally given cue during the meditation. Have X-ray vision. Okay. Like used a kind of X-ray vision to see the things. Focus on you. This is also popular. Zip up through the midline. Zip up through the midline. No, midline. Midline is Sushumna channel in our spinal cord. Zip up. That is like, this is used in Kundalini yoga, Kundalini practice. And that takes your energy towards your head. You feel up in energy. You feel energetic. Okay. So these were some cueing words. What you use, but you can add some more things into it. Now the next 2 chapters we'll cover tomorrow. Okay, adjusting and assisting yogasana, because this we should not finish in quickly, but in detail, because this is training. And after this, if you go through at your own, that is also important. But when you learn from me, that is more penetrating into your mind, into your consciousness. So this will cover next day. This and class management, the two chapters. And then your that section, professional essentials, would be completed. The first section, then second section will come. Clear? Any question from anywhere, from anybody? Okay. So let's finish now with the mantra. Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention. Today morning, Alice and Balaramji and Mamtaji, there were 3 participants. They completed Bandhas and Drishti. Okay. So there are 4 bandhas they have learned. Mula bandha, Udyan bandha, and Jalandhar bandha. Mula bandha is root lock, Mooladhara chakra. Mula means base, root. And in root lock, Mool means root. Like Mooladhar is root chakra, Mooladhara chakra. Similarly, Mool bandha means root lock. And what is root? Root is from where the energy starts. Root of energy is our base of a spinal cord, perineum. So in perineum, we have anus and private part. Okay. So when we lock, when you contract the anus and private part, then that is called Moola bandha. Okay. Udyan bandha is abdominal lock. When you block the lower abdomen, pelvic area. Udyan is Sanskrit word. Udyan means to fly. Udyan means to fly. So when you lock this Udyan, then your energy starts flying upward into your head, into your crown chakra. That's why its name is Udyan. And Jalandhar is chin lock. So here there is belief in yoga that this is like ocean of energy. Jal means water. Okay. So someone who is born of water is called Jalanta. So this is called Koop, Kant Koop. You know, Koop, well. So in well there is water, and when you awaken this, then the water means the energy, special energy starts flowing, and you feel energy. That's called Vishuddhi Chakra, that purifies extraordinarily. Okay, so this is lock, chin lock. So there are three locks, okay? Root lock, abdominal lock, and chin lock. And root lock is done with inhalation, and abdominal lock is done with exhalation, and chin lock is done with inhalation. Clear? But when you practice all these three locks all together, that is called Mahabandh. Mahabandh is practiced after exhalations. You inhale deeply. Yes. To practice all these bandhas, you sit in Padmasana, either in lotus posture, half lotus or full lotus, or in Siddhasana, Siddha or Siddhayoni Asana. And then you place your both palms on your knees and you practice these locks. So the Maha great lock is you sit in Padmasana or Siddhasana, you place your both hands on the knees, you inhale deeply and exhale, and then you first lock the chin. Okay, then you lock the lower abdomen, and then the anal or vaginal or the private area. Okay, after exhalation, and so long your breath retains outside, you hold them. And if you feel that now you have to inhale, then first release the root lock, then abdominal lock, and then chin lock. One by one, in sequence. You go from up to down while making lock, and while releasing, you come from down to up. Bandha is Sanskrit word. Bandha means dam. Bandha means dam. Okay, so you create dam to generate the hydropower. Okay, to generate the hydropower, you make the dam, very huge dam. You accumulate the water, and then through the flow of water, you generate the electricity. Similarly, there is energy flowing in our bodies. And if we practice the lock, then they are blocked, and then energy starts running inside the body. And thereby you feel up in energy, you feel robust energy, you can heal any part of the body. And mainly you awaken the three chakras: throat chakra, through chin lock, through root lock, root chakra, and through pelvic area, sacral chakra. Okay, so these bandhas are highly powerful in awakening the energy centers, these three chakras. And lock, muscular lock, this is called muscular lock. Bandha means dam. You lock and you block the leakage of the energy. And when you block the leakage of energy, then that helps awaken your energy, and that starts rising upward in your crown, and you feel deep meditative state. Just yesterday, I think, I had shared one post that without Kundalini awakening, you cannot experience the deep meditation. If you want to practice deep meditation, then you'll have to awaken your energy, sleeping energy, called Kundalini. That is different type of yoga, Kundalini yoga, but I have given some brief information in this chapter. So Kundalini is highly sophisticated, subtle, and powerful. If that awakens, then you become absolutely different person. In your speech, in your expression, in your complexion, in your energy, in your appearance, your entire being is transformed from ordinary to extraordinary. Okay, so Bandha is useful in that. Bandha is highly powerful in awakening the energies and to store the energy, to accumulate the energy and use for upliftment of your soul. Okay, I think that was enough for today. If you have any question, then we'll. And then we had also learned today the nine drishtis. Okay, 9 drishtis. Drishti you have already covered in Ashtanga Yoga, if you remember, right? Yeah, 9 Drishti. Okay.
Ashtanga Yoga B, we covered almost all the drishtis.
So in Ashtanga Yoga chapter, primary series, that comes in the beginning, the drishtis. Okay, let us finish with mantras. And in afternoon, Seonji, shall you give the practicum today?
Yeah, okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apply all these techniques in your teaching. Okay.
Okay. Yogi Anandji, could you just read Drishti, the pronunciation? 9 Drishti, Nasagrai, like that.
Nasagra is nose tip.
Nasagrai.
Yeah. Nasagra is
Yeah,
nose
just,
tip.
yes.
And Padyorgya. Padyorgya is the tip of the feet. That is called Padyorgya. And Hastyorgya is the hands, fingers tip.
Hastagrai. Hastagriya.
Hastagra. Hastagra is, hasta is hand and fingers, fingertips, hand fingertips. Or in some cases that is called the, thumbs also, hastagra. Thumbs also. Agar means end, hands end point. Anything else?
I just want a pronunciation, all the
Okay.
Drishti.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Nabi chakra and Ajna chakra.
Ajna.
The pronunciation. Ajna.
Yeah. Ajna chakra. Pronunciation is very important, you know. Even some Indians cannot pronounce it correctly.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they are Sanskrit words. Sanskrit are classical. Sanskrit is classical language.
And then far to the right is Dakshina Parashva. Dakshina
Parshu. Dakshin Parshu. Dakshin means right. Dakshin means right, and Parshu means back. Parshu Uttanasana, back bend, back stretch is called Parshu Uttanasana. Similarly, Vam Parshva is left back. Anything else?
And Angushta
Madhya. Angushta Madhya.
Madhya.
Angushta Madhya is middle of the, this thumbs, middle of the thumbs. Angushta Madhya.
So there's a difference with Hastagra.
Yes. Absolutely. Hastagra is the tips of the hands. Okay, tips of the hands. This one, this is called Hastagra.
Tips of the hand.
Yeah. Fingertips.
And then Angusha Madhya is thumb.
Yeah, between the thumbs.
Okay.
Madhya means between, in between.
Okay. And Urudva Drishti. How can you say this?
Yeah, Urdhva Drishti. Urdhva
Drishti.
Yeah.
Okay. Or Antara Drishti. Okay. Thank you.
Urdhva Drishti, other Drishti. Other is down, Urdhva is up. Alice, do you have any question in that chapter? No. Well, so let us finish this, and also we try to memorize the words of mantras, at least few, like Sarve Bhavantu mantra, Gayatri mantra, you should remember. Guru mantra, you should remember. Clasp your hands. Here. Focus your mind, concentrate. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam
Om Swasti.
Swasti.
परिपालयन्तु
न्यायेन मार्गेण महिषः
Yaryena margena mahisha.
गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् लोकाः समस्तः सुखिनो भवन्तु
Lokaha samasta sukhino bhavantu.
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः
Om sarve bhavantu sukhinaha.
सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः
Sarve santuramyaha.
सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु
Sarve bhadrani pashantu.
मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्
Mar kashit dukbhag bhavet.
Together one song, Sri Shanti. Shanti.
Shanti. Shanti.
Go down.
Shanti.
Go down to your teacher, all the teachers in the divine or mental forms. Smile. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
See you tomorrow, everyone. Bye
Yeah.
bye.